All right, welcome to episode
Episode.
185, I think.
Is it not 183?
No, that's when you say 183 last time, it was already 185 or whatever it was. Like we keep messing up the numbers. I think it's 185. If it's not, well, it's the episode after last week. Should be.
What are we going to talk about today?
Today I wanted to talk about training women versus men. Should there be a difference in training women and in training men?
Yes, I think so.
Touchy subject, obviously, because for whatever reason this seems to become a woke subject where really it shouldn't be. There are very much physiological differences between men and women. I'm sure I'll get in trouble by saying that, but let's be honest, it's a fact. It's a biological fact.
It's a fact, not to say that gender can't be fluent and that people can't be in a different body, or that people can't have more feminine or masculine energy or the opposite stuff of their actual gender.
Okay, I'll
That's
go
not
with
what we're saying,
masculine versus feminine energy.
Because,
within both gender, like you can be in a different body and everything. It's very true in very rare cases. Like that doesn't mean that you get to choose your gender. Like in some very rare cases, there is a case of body dysmorphia. That's true. Like you feel like you do not belong in the body you were given at birth. But there are also biological facts in all this.
Yeah, well, I think first and forward, everyone should do and be who they want to be and feel good with how they identify
themselves. There is a double X
themselves.
chromosome and there is a Y chromosome, and they do generate different things.
Yeah.
Like a male body has greater bone density, greater strength, reflexes. There's physiological
Women are, for example,
attributes.
way smarter.
There you go. It must be the double X chromosome. There is something with the X chromosome and not being able to be wrong that is definitely genetic. No, but they are facts. You can make babies.
Yeah.
At least you have a system. Whether or not you can get pregnant is another problem. But you have a system in place to make babies. We can't.
And
Like, come on, like
there's a whole cycle in our body that's there every single month.
You menstruate.
Yeah, exactly. And I still think that, or at least the background of sport where I come from, no one talks about that or keeps that in the back of their mind that that's something that you should consider when training a woman. So I think there are a lot of aspects that make.
There are many layers to
yeah.
this, but I wanted to talk about a specific one today, which that relates to programming.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go at it from a simple perspective, something that I've seen as a coach in a vast majority of cases. Women hate being tired.
Yeah.
Women cannot be tired during the day. So now we can talk about the fact that women are better at multitasking. Men are better at that single focus, that tunnel vision type of thing. What I've seen many times is that men enjoy the feeling of being exhausted after training. Women hate being tired. Mm-hmm. So, and I think a lot of women listening will know exactly what I mean. When you do a workout and you end up being drained all afternoon for it, it seems to drive women crazy on that. They hate that feeling of being tired, not having full energy during the day. It seems to bother men less. Right, so I wanted to talk about training for women based on that aspect alone. There are other differences between men and women, but I really wanted to approach training from that perspective alone because I think that's a podcast by itself. Mm-hmm. So for example, I can take you as an example. When you do your typical, like lately, CJ build a motor workouts, you end up with, even though you push very hard during the workout and you finish very tired, 2 hours later, you get energy out of that. So that's a very important part because that's what I want to talk about today. I don't mean that you don't push hard in the workout. I don't mean that you're not going to be tired when you finish the workout or for the next 30 minutes after the workout. You're going to be completely wasted because you spend so much energy. What matters, I believe, is what happens 2 hours after the workout. 2 hours after the workout, I'm ready for a nap. Right. Mm-hmm. If you're in there, you hate that feeling. Well, I kind of like it.
Yeah.
But so what does it matter? Well, because it matters if you go to our strength, neural output, or if you go to our conditioning and muscle capacity. Mm-hmm. So lately you've been following CJ's programming for Build a Motor, which is very conditioning heavy.
Yeah, and even the more technical lifts, I always finish with like something EMOM or something with a lot of rounds, like
A lot of volume, basically.
of
Volume. But what I've noticed as well, for example, best way to, and then I've seen that from all the way from training Valérie Verbal and before, best way to crush a woman is to make her do heavy metcons. A lot of heavy metcons will just destroy them eventually. Break? Okay, can you stop doing this? Because I can't focus when you're doing the dog face. Like seriously, like I can't. When you don't look this, like I cannot focus.
I'm just kidding.
I can't even do it without smiling. Don't make the dog face. I literally cannot look at you.
I'm just
And
overly
talking at the
focused
same time.
because I can't hear from this side, you know?
So does that affect your lips? Because your ears is clogged?
You're gonna cut this out of the podcast.
I'm gonna cut this out of the podcast. You all know I'm gonna do it. Anyway, so
You just can't stand it that I have full lips naturally
There you
and
go.
you have those
that
two
here, okay,
stripes
so
on your face.
two things people think here about Janina, that she's on steroids and she has lips failure. Both were said to you.
It's very true.
They're just jealous.
Haters
No.
gonna hate.
They're all jealous.
But you're gonna cut this out.
That's
of
why I
the
made
video.
a t-shirt saying I'm not on steroids, you're just a pussy. Anyway, so of course I'm gonna cut this out, obviously.
You're so
Anyway.
annoying. Difference between men and women.
Difference between men and women, there it is. Anyway, so you wanna crush a woman, make her do heavy metcons. I've seen it time and time again.
Well, honestly, heavy lifting.
Right, so
Beats
I
me
want
up.
to, yeah. So,
But I don't know if that's for
so
all women.
you've been doing but that's the thing. I remember the podcast we did, fatigue versus freeze. Is you're not beat up, you're in freeze. Let's not overdo it either, for our listeners. So it's a difference of fatigue versus tired. I do not believe you're beat up from the heavy lifting. I believe you're in freeze. I believe it puts you into a specific state that does not seem to fit the women's way. Does that make sense? Right? And I think it's a very important part of training that is very much overlooked. That we do not look at the effects of training past the physiology of it. But if there is such a thing as a core of women energy, in the sense of they need multitasking, they need to be able to be present and doing their shit all day long. Like usually, like multitasker, women, they take care of the kids, they take care of the house, they work, they do this, they prepare the stuff. I mean, like it's like energy into 10 different things. Well, you can't be wasted.
Well, that's how I feel. Like I hate it personally to look back at a day going like I didn't do anything. Like I'm not the
didn't do
person.
enough, right? Yeah.
I'm not the person that likes to chill in bed all day or like goes to the beach for 6 hours or something like
Right.
that. Like that just.
But it seems
just-
like, well, no, on days off we don't mind. But when you have
Yeah,
stuff to
no,
do during the week, and
exactly.
you said you were set to do certain things during the day, if you can't do that, you go crazy.
Yeah.
And that's what I've seen with a lot of my women's clients. Is that it's like they have a list for the day, and if they can't finish that list, they'll go nuts. So they'll finish the list regardless of the state they're in, which I believe put them in freeze if they don't feel they are sharp
Yeah.
and energetic enough to do that. I think it's a very important part, but I think it's completely overlooked. We look at training only based on physiological responses. But I think the difference between like a heavy metcon or heavy training and conditioning is actually deep rooted in the woman's way. And that is not something looked at. Most of training is still based on men's training because we've been doing it longer. We know what worked for us and we try to adapt it to women. But I think that adaptation does not go far enough. So in that case, I think training that makes you feel thrashed the rest of the day is not the way to train women. I believe it'll drive them crazy and eventually they'll quit, or they won't put enough energy into the training because they know later on they're going to pay the price for it. So that will explain why you see so many women pacing, CrossFit workout and doing all that stuff. Is because they know if they don't do that, sooner or later they're going to get to that stage where they won't have enough energy for the rest of the day, and that's not going to happen. So what they do instead is they'll back off the training. And I don't think that's necessary. I don't think they need to do that. I think there's a way to program better for them. So let's do it in two ways. So first of all, and then we'll use you as an example. What we can do is we can look at the training that crash you and not do that. So for example, at home, you can do something. For the next 2 weeks, keep a journal and look at your programming and look, even if it's a plus or a minus, look at the training that gives you energy 2 hours after versus the one that puts you in freeze, completely drained 2 hours later. I believe that feeling of being drained has nothing to do with physical fatigue. I believe you're in freeze. I think like if you train correctly with those conditioning workout and you feel energy during the day, then you are at your normal baseline level, you're just not in freeze. Right? So that would mean that that particular training is not the right way for you. So we're gonna go into the physiological and system differences between men and women. But first, how do we approach that? So you're gonna do a list for the next 2 weeks of the workouts with the one that give you energy, the one that take energy away from you. So for example, Janina has been training like 2-3 times a day, doing CJ's workouts that are very hard. Usually CJ posts those workouts like a per day type of thing, and Janina has been doing them 2 or 3 times a day.
And I will not admit that I've been scrolling back a year into to the Instagram looking at new workouts. I'm not gonna admit that.
No, she's not gonna admit to that. But she's been doing 3 a day. Yeah. And if you've seen some are like 40-minute EMOM, stuff like that. And you get energy out of it.
Yeah, and they're super, they're really well built.
Yes, well, it's CJ.
And
so, yeah.
So to me, it's also like interesting because every time I do one, I learn a lot out of the workout. So I actually really like it.
Right, so you learn a lot out of it, which is an important component. That's a skill component. And then it's all skill and muscle capacity.
Yeah.
Muscle capacity could just keep moving.
Yeah.
Right? And you learn, which is a skill part.
Yeah, and it makes me look at different things that I maybe don't see in the CrossFit gym that I train at. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like
there's a learning process.
That's probably in the learning process. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a skill toward muscle capacity, especially muscle quality, which is interesting because if you see men, you'll see neural output and muscle capacity toward quantity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's two sides of an arch there, I believe. So you do those workouts, you do 3 a day, and you're tired when you do them because they're very hard. But then you get home, and within an hour, you have a lot of energy. You do your gardening, you do all the stuff in the house, like very happy. And then I think it was last week or something like that, because we have the gym at home, as you see in the back. You were doing a workout and you finished with a set of heavy deadlift. You build up to a double at 130 kilos?
Yeah.
Right? A double. We have the video, look very, very easy.
But my problem, and I think that also was what crashes me, is that I did volume with heavy weight because I started at 60 kilos with 8 reps up to 100 kilos with 8 reps, and then I went into more like doubles.
No, I believe the all the way up 100 kilos for 8 reps, you were fine. I believe it's a double that murdered you.
That's what I think too.
And so she got to 130 kilos for 2 reps. Was honestly easy. You were fine, and I stopped there. I was like, no, that's enough. And then
I was even in the workout. I was not fatigued.
Yeah, she was not fatigued.
Cool.
Like, I'm fine. And then crashed for the next 2 days. Completely. Why? Because she went full blown into neural output, which I believe is the issue. So I'm not going to say all women are like that. You have to understand I'm talking about an overall. Yeah. But it seems to me that women do well toward skill and muscle quality. Men do well toward muscle quantity and neural output. One is very draining. The other one is more giving you energy. Obviously, you're going to need a little bit of both. But I believe women will slant toward the one side where men will slant toward the other. So what we see that is interesting, and I will a little bit make my point, is that the difference in percentages, for example, if you look at 90% of a max, women will easily do 6, 7, 8 reps with that percentage at 90%, while men will do 2 to 4 reps. On average, 90% is 4 reps maybe for a guy. For women, I've seen 8 all the way up to 10, which was crazy. Yeah, but I've seen 8 reps. So, which is interesting because same percentage, not the same workout. 4 reps max and 8 rep max does not sound like the same thing at all. And yet that is percentage-wise how it seems to work for women. So For men, you usually don't want to go over 90% when you do your lifts. Like once in a while, you'll go for a max, but most of the time, most of training is 3 to 4 reps, honestly. So 90%, that's usually what you get to. So I believe that 90% holds true for women, that they should get to 90% of their max, except they're going to do 6 to 8 or plus reps. So I think you should have done, because if you look, you have 130, 140 kilo, right? So you take 90% each, maybe 85, right? That would put you like a 115. So if we take another 5%, like a 105 kilo, and then like you do the max reps at that. If you do, because you did 8 reps when you were on the way up, I bet you if I put you at like 105, 110, you could do 8 to 10 reps.
Yeah, that's what the reason why I went to do that workout was because the week before that I did a workout. I don't remember the workout exactly, but it was with a 110 kilo deadlift, and I did for 8 reps without belt, without shoes.
Right.
And I did it in a workout, and it felt so. I didn't even without ribs, and it was super nice. So I was like, oh, cool, my deadlift is progressing, and I wanted to check where I was
so
at.
So she has a simple 140 kilo deadlift right now, no problem. With a belt, no problem. Maybe even higher, but let's say 140 kilo. Right? So 90% puts you at 125, right?
Yeah, so
80%, right, puts you at 110. So you did a workout with 80%, which is easy. But see, I would not necessarily let you go past 85%. Right? You did 130 kilo for 2. That's too heavy. I think if you had gone like 110, 115, you would have been just fine. In that 80, 85% range, which is honestly, when I deadlift, that's about, it's about what I live in a 90% max range. You know what I mean? But like it was your third workout of the day and stuff like that. So after that, we go toward, I believe at 90%, it's very high on the neural output. So that's where I would keep men. I believe for women then, in order to keep them more toward the muscle capacity, muscle quality, and on the other side of the arch, I would get them to an 80, 85% max when they do strength and just do more reps. I believe it'll be very taxing muscle quality-wise, but it'll be less taxing neural output-wise, which means you will gain more energy out of it than just be drained from it. So that means that from a programming perspective, you would do very well with staying at, cycling like I would go 75%, 80%, 85% in a 3-week wave for max reps. And then we just go like that. It'll be higher reps, but I think it'll build women better. There is no question that women answer better to volume than men. We've seen that with CrossFit. We've seen that time and time again. Women do better with volume. So that's something that should be favored for women. And that's not something that you see in most programming.
Yeah. And especially if you go towards powerlifting
toward powerlifting, Olympic weightlifting, and it's men's program.
Yeah, it is.
And I think that's a mistake. I think women need volume. And if you see CJ's programming, CJ trains so many women, right? That went to the CrossFit Games. It's crazy. A lot of men, but like really a lot of women. And CJ, to make women progress, loves those 30-40 minute EMOMs. He works really, really well. Volume-wise. So he makes them do those crazy EMOMs of 21 minutes, 30 minutes of heavy power cleans on the minute and just keep going. But the percentage are lesser. I believe women should train up to 85% and not really go anything past that. Yeah. And skill heavy seems to work better. That learning process seems to work a lot better. I think it relates to, again, the woman's core being and not being in freeze. That is not something that is considered when it comes to training.
Well, if we go back to that sort of multitasking idea, it will allow you to be more in a multitasking mindset. Right. Because if you do, let's say, 80% of your max, you don't have the same concentration and thing. Because I noticed in my deadlift workout is that until 100 to 110 kilos, I was in a very different state than when I was when I went above. And that state when I went above was not something I enjoyed because it made
Right.
me overthink. It made
Right,
me almost
exactly.
more insecure, made me a little bit scared of the weight. Not scared, but you go like, you don't go under, you don't
Right.
lift 130 kilo deadlift
Oh,
the
yeah,
same
yeah,
as
exactly.
100, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So it just doesn't put you in that multitasking mindset.
Right. And neural output, we were talking about that in a podcast, there's two sides to neural output. So that 85% plus, you have the capacity to carry the nervous, the input. You know what I mean? Like through the nerve, so there has to be clear pathways for the neural output to go through. But there's also that generating of the neural output that requires lowering inhibitions. That goes against the women's core, that one, because inhibitions when it comes to strength goes through like wanting to murder the barbell. Like there is a need for violence there, like a lowering of inhibition against violence in order to lift your best, like it's been shown time and time and time again. And that is something between risk management and women being more agreeable by nature that will be harder to get through.
Well,
For women to have a murderous intent is going to take a lot.
Well, yeah, and like what's the risk management?
Or just piss them off. But that's another problem. Yeah.
Like the risk management at 130 kilos is just not the same as 110. Because
There's
you
a
go
risk
like,
now.
yeah, because the thoughts that go through my head is like, oh, is my back okay? My hamstrings activated? Is this okay?
What
Is that
happens
okay?
if my back is not okay?
Oh, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't feel like waking up tomorrow and not being able to move and not being able to
Right.
do this and that and this and that, and
Right.
I'm not gonna ruin my life over one deadlift session.
Right.
That's what goes through my head.
And okay, and that's a very feminine approach to it. 'Cause
Yeah.
guys are like, I'm not saying we're smart. I'm saying that's what goes through our head. Like that's why we put the finger on the outlet 6 times in a row, because you never know. Maybe the 6 times will be different. Because if you don't try, you don't know. And women always look going like, why are you so dumb? Any mother that has boys know exactly what I'm talking about. Going like, why would you try that? Boys will go like, I wasn't sure. There was a chance.
Yeah.
That's, by the way, there was a chance is why we approach beautiful women, knowing we're going to get blasted out of this world, but we try anyway, because we need that. So we have very, very low risk management systems within the male energy psyche, right, that make us do stupid shit. Because once in a while, you pull it off. That's why you see those crazy sports. You see mainly men, because they can jump into a bush of cacti, and go like, I felt like it, because we can shut off the idea of consequences. Men are very, tunnel vision,
And
very
let's
stupid.
be honest, men have a little bit more of an ego.
I don't
thing
say it as an
going.
ego, I think as being an outlier who wants to progress society. But you all want to stay toward the center, you go ahead. I feel I'm progressing mankind. There you go. See, two different
Ego.
visions. That's not ego. Two different visions. But whereas
The
women,
fact that you call me centered is another thing that's just delusional, but
you're not centered at all. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not centered at all.
You're more centered than me, which is scary. But there's an approach there. Like,
What does it tell you about you, by the way?
I know
This
myself.
should be a reflection
I know
moment for
myself.
you.
They know me. I know me. It's all good. Look
Should
at
be
my
a
life.
reflection
Yes, everybody knows that. Okay, no one has ever accused me of being centered.
Exactly.
Like, exactly. I'm very smart. I'm a lot of things, but centered, Jesus Christ. But that gave me the capacity to run away from home and move to Africa when I'm 14, to move countries, I don't know how many times, to go on the road for 3. If you have risk management capacity, you do not go on the road for 3 years as a single father trying to raise your daughter. You don't do it because you look at all the reason not to. Me, all I need is a reason to do something. That's it. And I'm like, oh, fuck it, then it's worth it. Right, that's very poor risk management. But you also get to do great things. But the cost is very high. Right, whereas, let's reset, whereas women have a very different way for risk management, and that we're going to talk about right now.
I do believe it's important to say that that doesn't make us less capable of strong, because women still have that complex in that they go like, oh, I need to be as good as a man, but I'm
No,
like,
you
no,
can't
but
be as strong as men.
No,
Like,
and
it's not going to happen.
But it's also like,
But you
the
can be as
comparison
strong as you
is-
can be.
But the comparison is also,
It's completely unfair.
yeah, the fact that I have more risk management when I deadlift 130 kilo doesn't mean that I'm not capable.
Means you're smarter by getting injured.
And it maybe just needs that I need a different approach to get to that way, but it doesn't mean that we're.
No, but
I
that's
think also women are way more coachable in that aspect than men.
they're far
for
more
example.
agreeable.
Yeah,
And there's a risk
and-
management too. They're far more agreeable. That makes them far more coachable than men.
Yeah.
They have a much less ego.
And they
Women
have a
are
better
men are
brain-
much more prone to injury because they're so fucking stupid when it comes to stuff like
Exactly.
that. But plus you have a
And they
built-in
are-
risk management. You can carry life.
Yeah.
So that there is nothing more costly than making a baby. Like it's 9 months of your life plus taking care of it after. There's the birth. Imagine the amount of the physiological changes that will go through your body when you'll carry my kid. Like it's the amount of energy is ridiculous. So your system, your psychology, who you are as a woman is built on risk management because, for example, this is why you'll have such demands when it comes to your mate. Because you're like, if I'm going to spend that much energy to create a life and have to take care of it and breastfeed, and in the meantime, I'm very vulnerable to the world for a good year of my life, I better make sure that it's worth it so that the genetic material that I receive from my mate better be good. So I'm going to look at who he is to make sure that what he's giving me is worth the work, which is a completely normal approach to any system. This is how it should be. So that means that it's your capacity to carry life gives you a very strong capacity toward mitigating risks, toward risk management, toward risk assessing and mitigating risks. When you're pregnant, you have to mitigate risks, which means you're not going to do as stupid shit as we would because you carry a life. When you have a kid, you don't want to put your finger in the outlet 6 times because it'd be bad for the kid. It'd be bad to drink too much. It'd be bad to do drugs. Where our guys are not capable of thinking like that, at least not to the same level, because we don't need to. That's how we are built. That's the Y versus double X chromosome and all that stuff. They are built-in things with it being a woman and being a man that is neither good or bad. They have their own strengths, their own weaknesses. It's just the way it is. We give the thing, you make the thing. Right, so based on that, they are a specific male versus female energy because those are requirements for us to move forward in nature. So we can bitch about it all day pretending that it makes women weaker or stronger than men or whatever, which I believe is a stupid conversation. I don't know why we need to compare men and women. It's different. There is no world without
And-
women. There is no world without men either. Why do we need to compare? It's apples and oranges
And can
completely.
it please be different?
Yes, what's wrong
can
with
we-
being different?
Yeah, like can we please just go with it and just let it go that it always needs to be
Like
a
that idea that
comparison?
women are just as strong as women are just as strong as men. No, and you see that at the last Olympics when all the sprinters male lapped all the female sprinters. No one said it was fair
We need
physically.
the mixed relay.
Yeah, the mixed relay. Who cares? I love watching women's tennis. I love watching women's jiu-jitsu. I love watching women's sprint. Who cares? I want to see skill. I want to see someone trying to push their potential to the maximum, regardless of what that is. Like,
Yeah.
who cares? But the problem with that conversation, or not being able to say men are stronger than women, on average, obviously, we carry more muscle mass, things like that, is that we cannot then talk about programming correctly for women so that they can reach their potential, which is the problem.
Yeah.
So with that bullshit of body positive on one side and then being woke and not being able to say there are differences between men and women, we are hurting women. Because guess what training is based on? Men. And it's not the patriarchy, it's because we have been training for longer. The original Olympics, there was very few women. Because not strong enough. If we go as meritocracy, all professional sports would be men.
And
That's just the way it is.
yeah.
And that's okay. But that's why we have women's sports, which is very enjoyable to watch. So why is that a problem? What I know now is that a lot of women are training. Thank goodness. It makes for gorgeous body. And we are learning how strong women can be while being fit and everything. Different qualities, and that's okay.
But if you look at the CrossFit, just the numbers of weights that they lift at things
That's
like the games,
Fucking impressive.
if it what it improves from even 5 years
5
ago
years.
to now.
Oh my God. Right.
is
So,
insane.
you know what it tells you? It tells you we don't know how to train women.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it tells you. It took
Exactly.
CrossFit to show what was the way forward to train women.
And if you
like
look at
people
those
don't remember.
women-
People don't remember. CrossFit has changed the way we train women forever. You have to give that to Greg Glassman. What he invented changed the way we'll train women forever. They all pretend that it's not true because they're all using the CrossFit methodology, volume, intensity, and stuff like that. And then that constant change way more now. But the reason we do that is because CrossFit has proved that it worked. Because I was there from the beginning. I had a CrossFit affiliate in 2008. And CrossFit was getting bashed left and right for being stupid by Olympic weightlifting, by powerlifters, by all that stuff. You fast forward 3 years, like 2012 to 2013, you go to a powerlifting or a Special Olympic weightlifting competition, and all the women are CrossFitters. When people start to see that, like people with CrossFit t-shirts, they started to shut up because they realized, oh my God, those women are winning. Then they went to powerlifting competition, they start winning that too. And men had to shut up because CrossFit was proving that the way to train women was different than what we thought it was. Which is, you can't blame us either. Like we thought, hey, it works for us, we're gonna train you the same way we train us, except it doesn't work like that.
So, what do you think then of men and women training together? How is your view on that?
No, that definitely, like some women prefer training with men. Women together sometimes have a tendency to...
Hell.
Yeah, women together can be a bit tricky. Like you're slightly competitive, all of you. I've been there watching it going like, oh my God, like someone would get shot if it was me. If we talk to each other the way you talk to each other, oh my God, someone would get shot before the end of the stuff. And then the looks and the passive aggressive stuff. And
Good job.
like
that
you
type
see
of backhand
you see a
compliments.
household with only women, no men there, and oh my God, the bitchiness, passive aggressiveness in the center of that, like it gets nasty. The world is an arch. You need both sides.
But so
I'm
you
just saying.
think
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. Like some women don't like to train with men because they're too aggressive and trash talk. But a lot of women prefer men around because there's a frankness in a competition going like you suck or do better. Well, that was good. The guy said that was good. You don't have to look for an angle. Women say that was good. You're thinking, what is that bitch? What does she mean? That
Yeah.
bitch means something else. You know, like some women saying, oh, you show your scars. It's so nice. Was that a compliment? I'm not sure. Right. The guys are like, hey, scar, good. So
honestly, I always prefer training with. I had a few girls where I
Yeah.
liked training with, but mostly.
yeah, and most of them bumped you with the shoulder on the way out. Anyway, so
But I
that's completely
prefer-
different.
yeah.
That's up to the person. But me, there's two things I want to approach when it comes to training. So first of all, percentages, right? I would like to see women training if on a 3 weeks wave, or let's say 75, 80, 85. 85 or 90, you're going to have to decide that for yourself. But the rule number one is those sessions cannot make you tired that afternoon, because you're not tired, you're in freeze, because that particular type of neural output heavy training is not for you. That's okay. Don't try to force it. Don't try to make it what it isn't. Just stick with a lower percentage. See between 80 to 90% what fits for you as the max. Rotate that, and you'll see that the strength is going up anyway, except you don't have that massive backlash from your system. So first of all, don't go into those percentages. Second part that I see that works really well is EMOM. You know why EMOM? Because there's a small win every time. On the minute, you do your 3 reps, your 5 reps, or your 10 reps. There's something to do that is clearly stated, right? So the prediction is simple, and you're going to do the reps pretty much every single minute. So you get a win per minute. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
great.
think it's
It's
awesome
stated beforehand. So you see a huge difference of men versus women when someone explains a workout. A guy is going to explain, a coach is going to explain the workout, right? You have 5 men, 5 women. He starts to see, so today we're going to do this. The guys are already gone, loading their barbell. They don't even know where the weight is. It doesn't matter. They're already gone, going, oh yeah, we're going to do that. And then they're going to wait to figure out later what happens. Well, all the women are standing there going like, well, you need to explain the workout. You didn't explain how many minutes. You didn't explain what happened in between. Can I take a break? Can I take some water in between? And they want all the details
What type of
relating to
shoes?
the
What type
workout.
of thing? Can I use grip?
I
Can
can't
I-
start without knowing all those important details. Guy's already warming up. He doesn't even know what the workout is. So women need to be told beforehand what not to do, how to not fuck up and everything. Men, you have to wait for them to fail, hurt themselves, to tell them not to do something. It's the opposite. So you tell men how to do workout after they do the workout, not before. Whereas you tell women to do workout before the workout, not after. If you tell them after, they'll be so angry at you.
Yeah,
If you tell them,
happened to me many times.
if you tell them women, oh, and you shouldn't do that after the workout, they will hate you for it. Men cannot listen before the workout. They're already on the thing.
And how do you feel about women's coaches versus men coaches?
Okay, so before we go there, let's just finish with the point. So that
Sorry.
means that women will do very well. Women will do very well on EMOMs. I had a template where we had 72 minutes scripted for women, which means 1 minute on, 1 minute off. You do that, and then you get 2 minutes of rest. Then you do this workout, and then you do 2 minutes like this, and then so every minute for 72 minutes was scripted, and it worked so well because they knew exactly what was coming next. There was no anxiety about how much time to rest. Everything was already answered before the workout, and it would go from A to Z, and it worked so well. That with the right percentages, I think, is the way to go.
Yeah.
So that's what I would like to see for women is more EMOMs, and don't just rest, have time rest periods. Everything should be time in your workout. Like you should know exactly my workout is going to take 68 minutes, written down to the stuff, and then after that, within that, you'll have to modify certain things based on what you need, because some exploration is going to be necessary, but you're going to go mostly on the exploitation side. Not completely, because otherwise you'll crash out of anxiety. But this is going to be more toward a women's side of things. Lots of EMOMs on the minutes, 1 win per minute and stuff like that. You'll be able to push much harder.
I can totally see how this would work way better.
Way better.
Because I think one of the most annoying things for women is not knowing, sort of, going into the gym, like not knowing what the plan is. And constantly rethinking also what am I doing.
Right. And
so it's constantly risk management if you don't know
and
what's going
to that puts you in freeze so fast. So
I always want to know exactly what I'm going to do, and then then I'm going to go on autopilot doing the stuff.
Right, exactly. Almost. So there's a risk to that is that you don't necessarily know which state you're going to be in the gym. So what I would do is I would go back to the template that I was doing on the scripting all the stuff, but the exercises would change based on your state.
Yeah.
But so by the way, I'm thinking
there's still something where you have to be also
because depending on the day, because
like
depending on the day, like there has to be some variance. But I'm actually thinking about doing a women's template again for that reason, because I understand better and better what that freeze is with women, and I think the training has to be vastly different because of that. So I might do a women's template, and then we shall see how it goes. I mean, anyway, so
comment down below if you want a women's template.
Exactly. If you
That's
want
what
that,
YouTubers say, right?
Yeah. Put the comments down below. I'll talk about it on Matty Networks, but I'm actually it'd be fun to play with that, to play with a women's template, and it'd be EMOM heavy, it'd be everything like, per minute like I did before, but this time with specific percentages relating to women and far more toward conditioning, which means if we do, there's still going to be some, for example, like isolation work for the weaknesses, but everything would be in a superset, higher reps, just feeling the pump, things like this, which we see most fitness models do. They mostly do supersets, higher reps. I think naturally women gravitate toward that because it works better.
And I think you have to be in such a different state to do it. Like if I have to do like 10 sets, you can't freak out at the first one and just it steadies you so nicely for the rest of the day. So maybe it's programming like this is also way more beneficial for women, because
for women, not for me. Like I would die programming like that for myself.
I feel like I see a lot of difference in my behavior when I did powerlifting programming versus CrossFit programming. Like
no, but
the reactions to stress are very different.
It's a fact that it's working better this way. So instead of denying it and bitching about it, we should try to understand it so that we can use it better. So we're gonna I'll do it with Janina. We'll do a template based on your training, but like it'll be heavy conditioning, and then I'll explain like how to hit the weaknesses. It'll be more like the bodybuilding style will be very much supersets and higher reps and stuff like that. It'd be fun to build a women's CrossFit template.
That would be really cool.
Because I could use
there will be
a lot of
running
CJ's
in
workout.
It, though, if it's going to be if I can decide, I'll do a lot of running.
Running, yeah, but they can always switch that to rowing
Yeah,
and
making
stuff
it
like that. But plus, I would use CJ's workout as the base of the CrossFit, but with my ideas. And I think it'd be fun to have a CrossFit template based on that. But it would be a, I don't know if I'm going to say women's template, but a feminine energy template in a sense.
Like, we can come up with a cool name.
It's a cool name because I don't want the guys to be turned off, but it'll be conditioning based. So let's do that. We're going to do a CrossFit template, but more toward the conditioning side, but based on those ideas.
Yeah, and I personally like seeing some strongmen in there, like row pulls, for example.
Yeah, but even
it's
that
very
would
easy
be
to combine with like an
yeah,
EMOM
but it'll be like
situation.
longer distances on the rope pulls, like it'll be a different approach because there is my approach, which is, well, we can do that. My approach is neural output, muscle quantity heavy. That's my template, and we're going to do a template that is skill, muscle quality heavy. So both sides of the arch. Now, I mean, and then people will see where they do better. I think we need both sides of the arch.
Well, let's be honest, it's very possible that there are men with that carry more feminine energy that
There
will
is.
fit.
Oh, I met many of them.
Yeah, and that will fit way better with something like this.
If they prefer conditioning and stuff like that, there's no question.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so to go back to, because we still have some time, to go back to your question about men versus female coaches. A lot of male coaches do not know how to coach women because there is, we used to being very frank, trash talking, the whole like, well, just do it. It comes from the fact that, for example, like if you were to explain to me a whole workout to the T before I do it, I wouldn't be able to do it. Like you would have already drained the energy out of me. So I see that a lot in women's coaches who need to explain every single point before a workout. And I'm like, it's a fucking push-up. Land your plane. Can we start the workout already? It's men. You explain to men a workout after they've done it. Let them fuck it up. And once they're on the ground going like, I use too much weight on the barbell, because they will, because they didn't listen to you in the first place, then you tell them, look, next time do that. And they'll be like, oh, thank you. The opposite of women, if I let a woman put too much weight on the bar, she dies on 2 rounds instead of 3, and I go to her saying like, you should have put less weight on the bar. They'll go like, why didn't you tell me that beforehand? Because that's how women are. Men will not listen before a workout. They don't. The second you say workout, they're already gone to warm up. They didn't even listen.
I think it's also very important that to never, sort of as a coach, don't show doubt to a woman. Like, because that is something that I noticed in multiple sports is as soon as the coach shows sort of not weakness, but a doubt in his programming, I'm like, so you're not really sure about this? Like, what does that mean?
That's a big one. So to a lot of men, it's like, well, let's talk about this. Like, but to women, they see it as a sign of weakness. So you have to be very assertive with women when you train. That's why you have to put things on a minute, telling them how many reps, telling them the percentage, because they want you to be assertive.
And also, I also see a lot of men coaching women with so many hints, like, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and that is for me also always a sign of sort of uncertainty. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's because they're trying to. But that's because they don't understand. They're trying to be assertive.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. You have to be assertive in telling them what to do, but not the hints while they do it. Well, men will be the opposite. Is you can't be assertive in telling them what to do, because guy will be like, dude, like, so just relax. I got this. But when they train, it's like, dude, don't make that mistake. It's the opposite. Men and women are opposite in many aspects. So that's what you see women trying to coach men. That just sounds so bitchy, because they're trying to tell them what to do to the second. And guys are like, oh, don't. I don't like it. Just, you're stressing me out right now. It's like, because then it feels like if you have any creativity within it, she's going to think like you're not listening. Because that's how a lot of women coaches will go. It's like, you're not listening to me. I'm like, I'm trying stuff. That's risk management versus the male perspective, which is I'm trying stuff. Let me make mistakes. So if you're a women's coach, you have to let men make mistakes. You have to let them fuck it up.
Being so hard for a woman.
I know, but this is like when you have boys. Yeah, I know, but that's why they're struggling. But look, if you have boys, you know what I'm talking about. They're going to hurt themselves, and you have to let them. Imagine what happens when women raise boys and refuse to let them play rough to go outside. The numbers are clear. Men do not do well without rough play. This is how we learn the world, is rough play. We learn limits. We learn to respect someone higher in the hierarchy. We learn to not have too big of an ego, which is always a problem for men. How do you think we quash ego from the beginning? Rough play. Stop. Okay, okay, I get it. Yeah, they have to be whooped, at least by their peers, because we need to establish hierarchies. That's the way we do it. You guys do it differently.
Yeah.
You do it with words,
And I think
with relationship, you
Yeah.
do it very differently. But you cannot tell men to do in a 60-minute workout everything by the minute. Most men will not take it. Women will think the guy is a sexist who doesn't want to listen to them. No, men don't listen at all. It's not that they don't listen to you, they don't listen to me either. Men don't listen. That's okay. Let them make their mistake. They need to make their mistakes, and then you'll gain their trust like that, and they'll come to you asking for stuff. If you're going to tell them to not fuck up something, doing after the workout, not before.
Yeah.
Women are the opposite. Women, you need to come before workout and telling them how to do every single thing. Once you've done that, you have to let it go.
And
Which men cannot do, because
I
when they
also
see a
think-
mistake, that's when they want to correct it.
Yeah, and I think with men it's a way more not ego crushing, but putting them in the right place at the right time. Let's call it like that. Where women, you have to encourage them a lot more than you think.
Right.
You have to constantly give them wins.
Constantly give
and
them wins.
showing them that they're doing okay. Because otherwise they feel like a failure, and then
Right, but
when
see-
that happens, that whole doubting, insecurity
Yep.
thing comes up. And I think I've seen that when I coach women a lot, is the more you encourage them, almost borderline putting a feather in their ass constantly,
Yep.
the better they do. Because they grow a certain type of
So-
confidence.
To say it short, women need to be handed wins all the time. Men needs to be handed losses all the time. Men only learn through losses. Women only learn through wins. If a woman starts losing, she gives up. It's risk management, she just quits. Men, if you give them too many wins, they actually don't do well.
Yeah.
They need to fucking lose all the time. That's the only way we learn is through losing. We need to be handed losses, heavy losses, and we go, no one likes it, but you go like, huh, and then we progress out of that. So after the workout, explain to them the losses. Women, explain to them the wins before the workout. You can correct men while they train. You cannot correct women while they train. You can only tell them what they're doing well. So if you're if you're
It's
a
true.
male coach coaching women,
Yeah, it's
do not explain to them what they're doing wrong. Only explain what they're doing right. Just promote the right part of the movement. If you're a women's coach, you can tell a guy what he's doing wrong. Just don't tell him what to do for the next stuff. And don't get upset when he doesn't listen. It's not that he's not listening to you, it's that he's not listening to anybody. He's not listening to himself. We don't listen to anybody. There's no voice. No, like kids on the playground. There is no voice inside telling us stuff. He's like, well, let me try shit. That's mostly how I live my life anyway. That looks interesting. Like she knows when I start to go like this on something, she's like, oh boy.
But I also know that I always have to let you go on one side. Like I need to let you go
Yeah,
crazy.
when I'm like this, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, he's gonna try something. Yeah.
It's better if it has nothing to do with me. So
Right.
go,
And
go.
yeah, hopefully it has something to do with you, right? Because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try that. And it's not like I didn't try it before and it failed miserably, but I'm like, yeah, but this time will be different. I bet you I learned a lot since last time. Hopefully. Because
If you-
otherwise it's gonna crash again.
And then on the things
I
that
don't do the same mistake so many times in a row. Like, by the way, one time is okay, twice is a habit. But I'm like, yeah, but this time it'll be different.
yeah.
Nah. Oh, yeah, it was progress. And then, of course, I'd still fuck it up, but then I'd be like, there was progress. I lasted 2 seconds more. I'd be like, it was still a bad idea, but I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't sure.
You always have to direct you in the direction that's most beneficial for me. I'm like, go play there, and then
Right.
this, don't touch it.
Right, it's like, you get that, not this one. And I'm like, okay, so I go play, okay, then I go there, and then I just fuck it up over there, and that's okay, because he didn't touch my flower. So, yeah.
It's true.
But so, ladies,
But
he's
I-
not sexist, he's just, he won't listen, that's
No,
all.
because
But that's
I
because he's a
truly
man.
believe that you also have a relationship where the men is more what I do and the women is more.
Oh, I'm sure,
it's,
yeah.
it's like more an energy
Doesn't-
thing
if it
than a
works, doesn't
gender
matter.
thing.
Right, okay, so masculine energy is mostly typical to men, feminine energy mostly typical to women. And then within that, there's men that are on the feminine side and women that are on the masculine side.
Yeah.
But it's mostly men masculine, women feminine. There's biological facts with all this. You can carry life. We can't just make that shit up. I'm sorry. Like after that, like I'm sorry if you're in the wrong body. It does happen. In rare cases, it does happen. But we have to. when we look, we don't look at individuals and make rules about it. We look at numbers, patterns, right? And make rules about that. Because, you know, like it's the liberty of a few versus like, no, you don't get to change an entire society for a few people. That's not how this works. Because otherwise you sacrifice millions for thousands. That is not how this works. That is not how nature works. I'm not saying that's not the way, maybe that's the way it should be, but that's not the way nature works. It isn't. Sorry. Anyway, in the meantime, so we're going to do a template about that. That will be toward the feminine energy. It will be toward skill and conditioning, that type of the muscle capacity. And then that should be fun to play with.
I think it's very exciting.
Yeah.
I think that will be really cool.
I think it'll be a lot of fun to play with. Sounds good? Those are the principles we're going to build it on, and then we shall talk about it soon.
What are we going to talk about next week? Maybe we could do like a, coming up next.
Don't know yet. See? That's the entire conversation we just had. Don't tell me what to do next week. Anyway, bye everybody.
Bye.